Hello everyone. I'm doing another venting video. I don't really have a specific idea to talk about. I just wanted to see y'all again, especially before the weekend starts. Today that I'm filming this is Friday. I don't know whichever day you guys are going to see it, but I hope you're enjoying your day regardless of what day you see this video. I'm going to be with y'all until I'm 103 at least, especially if I take care of myself, right? What I've noticed is that I am a sugar addict. I mean, it's not anything new, but I've just been thinking about it a lot here lately. And I eat way too much sugar. And all that junk food that I ate back in the day, majority of it was sugar. I remember all the honey buns, all the Little Debbie. Like, Little Debbie was all up and through my house. And then I would have those rare occasions where I would do, like, Edmonds, and then that's pretty much about it, though, I think. I mean, there was a few other snack cakes that I had, but it wasn't as prevalent as Little Debbie. Like, Little Debbie was, like, on deck in the house, especially when it was first of the month, you know what I mean? Just full of them oatmeal janks, them chocolate roll-up janks, the honey buns, of course, like I said before. Then those little brownies with the sprinkles on it. Yeah, I had a lot of sugar. Oh yeah, and don't get me started on U-Crop's bakery items. Them janks was on deck too, especially the cupcakes. My favorite cupcake from U-Crop's was the chocolate cupcake. I want to say it had the least amount of sugar because it did taste the least sweet. Because that vanilla cake was sugary. Not as sugary as Kroger's cake. I remember one of them daggone cakes. I don't know if it was like a grocery store bakery item or if it was a specific brand of snack cake. One of them janks was way too sweet. I do have a sugar tolerance. There is a such thing as too sweet for me, but I still am a sugar addict. And just thinking about my sugar intake from the past compared to now, it's actually quite frightening. And I say it's quite frightening because I still kind of have the addict mentality when it comes to sugar. It's still happening in this time period. But for real, back in the day, if it wasn't for my mother, I probably would have eaten a whole bean pie by myself. I don't eat as much bean pie as I did back in the day because I'm having a reaction to nutmeg now. I can't have nutmeg. If I had like a bean pie without nutmeg in it, then maybe I'd probably still eat it. But back in the day, I would, like I said, if it wasn't for the help of my mother, I would have ate that whole bean pie myself. Then there's well, like I was saying before editing happened, then there was the Everest Pies. So like we would order probably about a good 6 or 7 of those individual slices of Everest Pie. And I just thought about how much I ate in a weekend. And this is not too long ago because this is when my mother was alive. So thinking about how much Everest Pie I ate over the week. Well, not over the week, over the weekend. I ate almost a whole damn pie. Yes, we bought the boxes with the 2 individual slices in it, but if you added everything up, that was almost a full pie. And even before that, I used to drink grape soda when I wasn't even eating anything. I used to drink Sprite and 7-Up when I wasn't even eating anything. So it was just like, okay, I would have it with a meal, and then I would have it in between meals. And, I feel uncomfortable. Hold up. And then there was the orange soda too. So it was 7-Up, some kind of Sprite, Sierra Mist, grape soda, orange soda. If it was a brand name, it was probably Crush. Or either the store brand. I think there was a green drink back in the day called Mellow Yellow. I had one of those too. And then I had like a couple of chocolate bars back in the day. I remember before I started being careful due to my food allergies, I would buy Twix in bulk and bring them to school. Now I would eat the whole box in one weekend. And I wouldn't blame you for thinking that, because I did say whatever I said about the pies, but yeah. I understand why I'm pre-diabetic now. It's absolutely terrible. I've also noticed that my feet are starting to get like rough a little bit. And it's the same kind of roughness I saw on Mom's foot, well, her feet, before her diabetes really started to get the best of her. Because she eventually had an amputation. Yikes, I know. But yeah, before it even got that bad, I'd say maybe around, what was that, like 13? I was like 13 or maybe 10. I think I was in middle school when I first saw my mom's feet change. Because at first she was looking like normal. Like she had normal feet. Everything was good. And then probably around the age when I was in middle school, I started to notice the heels of her feet started to look like real rough. I'm not going to say ashy, because we all know lotion clears up ashiness. It wasn't ash. It was like rough skin. And I'm starting to see that same rough skin on my feet. I don't know what's going to happen to me in the near future or in the far future, but I'm just sharing this part of my life because even if I wound up walking down the same path as my parents, maybe somebody else that isn't down that path yet, maybe they don't choose it. Because diabetes is not something to play with at all. Both of my parents had amputations. My mom just had the worst amputation. My mom had the right bottom half of her leg amputated. My dad just had a couple of toes. But yeah, I'm starting to see the change in my feet. And I hope it's not too late for me. And the only reason I'm saying I hope is because I'm starting to see the changes in my body. If I wasn't seeing the changes in my body, I wouldn't be alarmed, you know? But that's up to me. For right now, my doctor says my sugar is just a bit high. He didn't say I'm diabetic. And I'm kind of scared what this year's blood work is going to say. Yikes. But then again, when I was with my doctor before, my current doctor, she had me on metformin because I do have PCOS. PCOS puts you at a high risk of getting diabetes. So you do have to be careful of what you're doing. Yes, you can still avoid diabetes by having a balanced diet and not overindulging in the sugar. And just because you don't have PCOS doesn't mean that you can't get diabetes at all. So it's really all about choices. And I'm just saying right now, I'm in a rough shape. Cause it's like I'm grieving. I'm giving myself excuses. And the only positive I got going for me right now is the fact that I'm constantly moving around the house and I can't sit still to save my life. And the girls running all over the place and me having to catch them also helps me as far as moving as well. I must say, but then again, I've always drunk water. No matter what stage of my life I was in, well, that I'm in, because I'm still here, obviously. You're not talking to a ghost. just reassuring that I'm going to be with y'all until I'm 103. But anyway, throughout my life, I drank water and I'm still drinking water. That's probably my next saving grace too. The fact that I do drink water and I do flush a lot of this out of my system. And I know by me putting this out there, there's some people that's going to hold me accountable. Some people are going to be overly critical of me. And some people are probably not going to give a shit. But either way, I'm doing this because I want to have a good purpose in this world. And also, I need to vent a little bit because I'm going through a lot right now. I'm adjusting to a lot of things at once. And it's probably normal to do this. It's probably just the normal part of being an adult. But, you know, it feels like it's too much to adjust to because, you know, I'm a mom. I lost my parents. I'm also married. And then there's a few things in between all of those things that I have to balance out. And then on top of that, I'm still trying to, you know, start my career. So I was trying to start my career. I recently lost my parents. I got kids to take care of. And I'm married. Sounds like normal shit adults go through, right? Also sounds like an adult dealing with the adult decisions that they made. Well, my parents dying wasn't a decision that I made, but just trying to you know, set that off to the side somewhere, because unless it was planned, which it was not, you know, that wasn't my decision. But me being married and me being a parent and me wanting to start a career based off of my art, those are decisions that I made. So I'm dealing with circumstances that I can't control, my parents' death, and I'm dealing with my own choices. And I'm trying to, you know, adjust. It's hard to adjust to all this because it's just like, it's all happening at once. See, yeah, it's just hard to adjust. Like if I would have had my mom die at least like, let's just say it was just their time regardless of whatever I'm feeling. If I would have had my mom for about at least 5 more years, I would be a lot more stable. But to lose her directly after my father is just like, losing him was enough, you know? Because I'm already, like, I'm going through the process of, you know, like I said, not hearing my parents' voice anymore. Here mom goes, Khadijah, and dad calling me baby girl, because, you know, everybody used to hearing their fathers call them baby girl because of Oscar from Proud Family. That might be where dad got it from, you know? But it's just like, not hearing my dad going, yeah, anymore. It just fucks with my brain, you know? It's just like, I'm never going to hear them again. This is traumatizing, but I cannot show how traumatizing this shit is. Because I got shit to do. I got to raise my daughters. And if my husband and I do try for this boy, that would be a third person that I have to raise. And then, I guess what I'm saying is, I still have a life after this. And I had to live that life, which means I have to constantly tell myself and be reminded they're not here anymore. Because like I said, I just want to walk in mom's room and just talk to her about my day. I just want to call dad and just tell him that Leah tried to go up the steps on her own. I'm going to miss how mom's voice always sounded like she was singing. And I'm going to miss the rhythm of dad's voice. Like, his voice always sounded like a beat. Just like what he said, yeah, you know. And you're like, what you doing? You know. It's just, like, I can't hear that anymore. And it's bugging me. It's bugging the shit out of me. And I told myself I would not make my channel about this at all. But it's like, I can't get to anything else without at least facing it first. Eventually, I'm probably not even going to talk about this no more. You're probably going to rarely hear me say anything about my parents. But it's still, you know, it's still technically new. It's still in the new phase, you know? It's just, And I gotta just say it like that, because if I don't go, I'm going to cry. I'm going to be up in this bitch bawling. I gotta stay strong. And it's just like, how does a human being do this? I mean, I guess to be fair, if I think about it enough, my parents did technically prepare me for this moment, because the first movie I ever saw, and my favorite movie of all time, is The Lion King. And the main message in that is the circle of life, and moving your ass on when you ain't got your parents no more. And the other part of this irony, which is also scary, the day I found out my father passed, I was actually listening to the Lion King soundtrack. And I have a theory about my panic attacks. I've had plenty of panic attacks from, like, was it 2000? No, it was 2016. My actual panic disorder started in 2016. This was around the time when I was just starting to get used to being married and, you know, being apart from my mom for a little bit. And I guess I'm thinking that I started to have the panic attacks because my subconscious was telling me that I'm losing my parents. Yeah. My subconscious was probably telling me that, and I didn't know that that's what it was. Cause right now, I don't have any panic attacks. I feel numb. I barely feel like a raise in my emotions or in my energy. And I expect it to be a lot more sporadic in my behavior. I expect it to be a lot more crazy. You know, I expect it to be a lot more emotional. I expect it to be a lot more jittery. I expect it to be out of my fucking mind because before this point, I had panic attacks. And anything could have got me to that point. I don't know. Maybe it's Allah keeping me warm. I mean, not keeping me warm, but keeping me calm. Maybe it's Allah keeping me calm because I don't have my parents. Because I used to run to them for everything. Mommy, Daddy, what's this? No, I never used to clean the sink. I never used to clean the toilet. I never cleaned the tub. I would, probably the most I would do around the house was pick up things off the floor and organize things whenever we would, do any heavy cleaning or whatever. But I never did anything that involved pipes. Today, I cleaned my sink and my faucets for the tub. I cleaned the toilet whenever Mom was still in nurse home before she passed. So I was in the process of doing that because, I was trying to prepare for her return and everything. But it's like, because I used to let Mom do all that back in the day. I'm like, I'm not touching that shit. But now I have to. And now I remember her telling me, you're going to have to do this one day. And she was just looking at me like I was fucking crazy. Like, you're really just going to keep letting me do this myself. And yeah, kind of, sort of. I was thinking, I'm not touching that shit. But I have a whole new respect for what Mom did. She did a lot. And I'm very proud to be her daughter. And I am very upset that she cannot hear me say this. Honestly, I just want her to motherfucking open the damn door and be like, Khadijah, how you doing, sweetie pumpkin? Number 2. Because Dad was sweetie pumpkin number 1, I remember them. Ugh. I guess that's all I have now, are my memories. And it sucks that that's all I have now. I put my dad's hat, which miraculously still has his scent in it, on top of Mom's ashes, like Mom's in a box. So I put his hat on top of her ashes, so she's wearing Daddy's hat. I don't think I'm gonna move it. It's kind of cute. She can't see it, but it's kind of cute, and I guess in a way they're together. I don't know. I still wonder if there really is like an afterlife. I mean, I've always wondered this, but it's at the front of my mind now because of what recently happened to me. I hope everything that we go through in life is worth it. Because if that's it, once you die, that's a scary thought. But like I said, there was a time when none of us existed in the first place. So I guess as we hear, so we shall not be eventually. So I guess either way, it's how it's supposed to go. So I want to be a good influence in this world. And I'm sharing this with you because I want to be a good influence and I want to show people what things look like in maybe a positive way to deal with things. Because it's rough out here. And there's a lot of bad things going on. A lot of bad things going on in this world that I'm just noticing now because I'm an adult. So when you're a kid and when you're in that teen stage, it's like you acknowledge that these things exist, but you don't really get the full extent of how bad it is. And everything just seems so distant. But now, I understand it's not that distant. And being a sheltered child was probably the best way for me to be brought up. I'm thinking about doing something similar with my children, but, at point blank period, I'm going to have them close by me during their elementary school years. They have their whole adult lives to be away from me. They have their whole adult lives to be away from me and their father. So I'll just keep them close now. And hopefully through keeping them close, I can fit a whole bunch of productive things into the day so that they know practical things. They don't wind up like me, struggling and dealing with how ugly my mistakes are. I really gotta get used to cleaning the tub and cleaning the pipes, and I gotta get used to cleaning the hard stuff. And the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna probably clean that daggone fridge. That was one of the things Mom used to do all the time too. I knew I was gonna have to do all of this if she was gonna come back because, amputation. She wasn't gonna be able to do the same thing she always did anyway. But I was hoping I would share with her how I did it and show her how it would be helping her now. But, things don't always happen the way that you want them to happen. But like I said, I'm happy that I had my parents for as long as I did. And I'm happy that I'm able to be a parent, and I'm going to enjoy every bit of time that I have to be a parent. But I'm going to cut this off here. I'll probably wind up saying the same shit over and over and over again anyway, especially if I don't have anything planned and I just do a venting video. But yeah, I'm going to see you in the next video. I hope you learned something. If not, maybe the next video. Bye for now.